If you like corner carving and you've been bumping up the power output of your B9 like I have, you're probably looking at suspension mods. And our friends at 034 Motorsport have a really easy one that will improve the performance and handling of your vehicle, and that is their rear sway bar and the sway bar end links. I'm under the car and it's time to remove this sway bar. Now, you might notice I have no exhaust here, and I am doing a whole bunch of other mods, which includes a new exhaust, so I've removed it completely from the car. But I will show you a piece of that video so that you can see how I removed it, and you can use that information to drop the exhaust a bit, which I believe is all that's required to do this, or you could just remove it entirely. Before we drop the exhaust, we want to remove the connection to these active exhaust valves. And there's a little white tab that you need to pull out, push on it, and then pull back. It can be a little tricky because there's not a lot of visibility. And for the second valve, it's actually right before the exhaust tip. Take that connection off here too. This part goes back towards the mufflers and exhaust tips, and I think we drop that first. Let's blast these off with a 17 mil. I've supported the bottom section of the exhaust with a jack stand. We're gonna stick our 13 mil up here, and now we're gonna drop the exhaust hangers on both sides. Blast it off and the exhaust will come down. Be ready to catch it. It's time to remove this sway bar. The first step is gonna be to remove this bracket on both sides of the car. Those were M10s, like everything on this car is an M10 triple square. Don't confuse that with a Torx. And this is a 17 mil. Make sure to retain the bolt. Now to get our end link, it's probably easier to get rid of this plastic thing, and I need to do it anyway for another job I'm doing. Over here, you can grasp a little connector, and I'll show that to you as I take this thing off. Here's the little connector. It essentially just plugs in like this. To remove the factory end link, you're gonna need either two 16 mil wrenches or some sort of ratcheting mechanism. Now do the same on the other side of the car and remove that end link. Nice new end links. Our Heim joints, little covers for them, I suppose. Little tube of anti-seize. We need to use about half the tube per joint. Seems like an awful lot. You want to run the nut up and down the Heim joint to spread this anti-seize. Should be nice and smooth once you go through the whole thread. Do the same for the second one. Here are our factory end links, and because my ride height is stock, I think kind of mimicking the size of the factory end link is the way to go. So we're gonna take one of the end links and start to thread it in. And now we just wanna kinda check our size, like, see, that would be too long. So to make it shorter, we're gonna move the jam nut forward, and we're gonna thread more into the body and kind of see where that gets us. There we go. I think that's pretty even, and what you can do is kind of run that bolt that you took off earlier to release the old sway bar link, and then basically just see that your holes are about aligned. And then I'll just make the second one match the first so that they're both equal length. Now we can open the sway bar components, and I noticed it came with lube, the super lube with PTFE. It's actually the exact same stuff that I use in my grease gun, so I'm just gonna use that. Our new sway bar retainers, and man, aren't those beautiful. These are some really pretty billet brackets. Gotta give 034 credit on making some very pretty looking hardware. And I like that they put the Zerk fitting on it. Definitely makes it easier for later service. And you can see how the Zerk fitting works. It basically squirts the lube in here, but we'll just pre-lube it ourselves. So for some reason, my little bushes here didn't come pre-cut. It's really weird. Like, there's no gap there, so you can't really install them. I'm just gonna go for it and make a slice. I think I can just do it myself. All right, well, I have a way to install them now. So now we can install them on our bar, and basically, since I made the cut, they fit now, and that's what I was expecting. Slide the new piece on. I want to take a brief second to thank 034 Motorsport for sponsoring this video. As always, you're gonna find links down below in the description to the products, tools, equipment, production gear that was used in the making of this video. And of course, I'd love it if you liked, subscribed, rung that bell, and left me a nice comment down below in the description. I love talking to all of you guys. Now we can raise up the sway bar and get it mounted into its perch here. There we go, that side's on. Now we can do the other side. Snug them up a little bit. Now the end link needs to be oriented with the 034 logo facing towards the car. And then we just need to slide it on up here. We're gonna have to tighten that one on top when the car's suspension's compressed. So basically, when we're all done under the car, I'm gonna lower it on some ramps, and hopefully I can get myself under it and tighten that nut. We had that length worked out just right. And that's why it's important to kind of calculate based on your OEM equipment, unless you've been lowered, in which case you'll have to play with the length. And that's actually why you want one of those aftermarket end links, because your factory end links, when you're lowered, are putting extra load on the sway bar that you don't intend to have because they're too long. Torque down to 40 Newton meters plus 180 degrees. So right now what I'm doing is I'm not actually tightening, I'm just snugging very slightly so that it's not completely loose. I'm just getting rid of the big gap there. And that is the last step. Like I said, we'll do that under the car. Let's tighten our jam nut. I don't know any specific torque for this. I'm just kind of going with the tight but not too tight method. All right, we're ready to torque down these bolts here. Now these torque down to 28 Newton meters. Then do the same for the other bracket. There it is. Now the exhaust needs to come on, and we can drop the car down and torque those upper control arm to sway bar length bolts that need to be done at static ride height. To reassemble the exhaust, go in reverse of the disassembly. I'm installing an ECS Tuning valved exhaust, which I'll show you a few clips of. Above, I'll link you to the full video install in case you're curious about this product. The sway bar is installed, and I can definitely tell a difference. I haven't taken the car to the track or anything like that, but just going through some really tight turns, I can tell that it is more planted. I think most people could knock this out. Overall, I thought the bar was very well made. The end links were well made. I like that there were Zerk fittings to fill up grease. Great touch. I hate when companies don't put those in, because I have to drop the sway bar now to re-grease it? It's stupid. So 034 did a fantastic job there, as well as their instructions being very clear and concise. I think they did a great job. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you do get those notifications. And of course, I'd love to talk to you guys down below in the comments. So I hope to see you down there. And for now, I need to get a little bit of a break. I'll catch you again really soon.